behave. I admire Dr. Barbara, and as I described her behaviour in the novel, I found myself totally in sympathy with her. I mean, I would have followed her to the, to the end, or whatever.
From Rushing to Paradise by J.G. Ballard. The threat of a new series of atomic tests had failed to inspire Dr. Barbara, a veteran of the protest movements, who was helping to run a home for handicapped children in Honolulu. This restless and high-principled English physician was bored by the endless rallies against ozone depletion, global warming, and the slaughter of the minke whale. But Chemo also informed her that the French engineers of Saint-Esprit had extended the military airstrip, destroying an important breeding ground of the wandering albatross, the largest of the Pacific seabirds. Saving the albatross, Dr. Barbara soon discovered, held far more appeal for the public. The great white bird stirred vague but potent memories of guilt and redemption that played on the imaginations of the University of Hawaii graduate students who formed her protest constituency. Coleridge's poem, she often reminded Neil, was the foundation text of all animal rights and environmental movements, though she was careful never to quote the familiar verses.
Of all the political movements in the world which I would have hypothesised that you would be most opposed to as a futurist and a progress fiend, it would be the Luddite end of the ecological movement. I mean, is that your
Yes, I think
ultimate
that's true.
countervailing force?
Absolutely. I'm intensely pro-advanced technologies. Obviously, you can't sort of fill the Thames with dangerous chemical wastes that kill every fish and every plant. I mean, one's got to regulate the activities of industry and of scientific research so that the community as a whole doesn't suffer. But we've benefited so much from the advance of science and technology this century that it seems absurd to artificially decide on a cut-off point. Some sort of anti-technology, anti-growth people would like to do.
We're here on the occasion of your book of essays, A User's Guide to the Millennium. I'm not sure whether that's this millennium or the next millennium. I presume it's the next millennium.
Yes, I think it's the next millennium. I mean, the title is also the title of one of the longer pieces in the book, which is a look at the science fiction film. And of course, it relates there to the next millennium. But it occurred to me that most of the topics covered in the book together constitute the sort of baggage that we'll carry with us across the threshold of the next millennium. Hollywood stars like Marlon Brando and Marilyn Monroe, great scientists like Feynman and Einstein, the hydrogen bomb. In the arts, people like Warhol and Francis Bacon, writers like Burroughs, together constitute the cultural baggage we carry. So that in a sense it's, the last few years, the last decades of this millennium, and their reflection in the first decades of the next.
And if new technology would enable you to double your lifetime, would you go for it?
Yes, obviously given the alternative, yes. The quality of life is terribly important. I mean, it's a mistake to think that you can live to the age of 90 without, and maintain the kind of friskiness of a 60-year-old. But obviously, health on all sides has improved so much. We're all, thanks to better food and better medicines, we're all probably much younger than our chronological ages anyway.
So the SF writer wants to live forever?
I'm still living in the future, and I hope to go on living there.
J.G. Ballard, thank you very much.
Sparkling chat.